Jimmy Butler reacts to the Luka Doncic trade. The shockwaves of Luka Doncic's trade to the Los Angeles Lakers are still echoing months after the blockbuster deal was finalized. For many within the NBA community, the February move remains one of the most surprising in recent league history. Fans of the Dallas Mavericks, in particular, continue to question why their front office, led by general manager Nico Harrison, would part ways with a player widely regarded as a once-in-a-generation superstar. The controversy hasn't subsided, and every week new voices add their perspective to the debate. One of the most candid reactions came from Golden State Warriors star Jimmy Butler. In an interview with The National, Butler admitted that even as a veteran who has seen countless trades and surprises, this one felt completely unreal. "I honestly thought it was fake, like everyone else," Butler said with a mix of disbelief and humor. "You probably thought the same thing too. I don't even need to ask. It was like somebody had hacked Shams Charania's account." When people use words like untouchable, Luka was the exact definition of that. To see his name in a trade, I'm still stunned. It doesn't feel real. Butler's comments capture what much of the basketball world felt in the immediate aftermath, disbelief bordering on denial. Doncic was considered the face of the Mavericks, the cornerstone of their long-term vision, and one of the brightest stars of the NBA's future. To many, his departure symbolized not just a major roster change, but a dramatic shift in the balance of power across the Western Conference. The Mavericks' official explanation, as articulated by GM Nico Harrison, was centered around defense. According to Harrison, the organization firmly believed that defense is the foundation of championship teams. The trade brought Anthony Davis to Dallas with the idea that his elite rim protection and defensive versatility could anchor a new identity for the team. While the logic was sound in theory, the optics of trading away Doncic left many scratching their heads. Butler, for one, wasn't convinced that defense alone explained such a seismic move. "There's always more to it than what they tell you," Butler remarked. "I don't know what the real story is, but I have a hard time believing that it was just about defense. Something else must have been in play." His words echoed the sentiments of countless analysts and fans who suspected behind-the-scenes dynamics, whether financial considerations, locker room tensions, or long-term strategic shifts that had not been fully disclosed. The trade immediately altered the trajectory of two franchises. For Los Angeles, pairing Doncic with LeBron James created a juggernaut overnight, reshaping the championship landscape and reigniting the Lakers' title aspirations. For Dallas, the decision introduced uncertainty. Could Anthony Davis, as talented as he is, truly replace the leadership, playmaking, and cultural impact that Doncic had provided? Many Mavericks fans remain doubtful, and their skepticism has become one of the most discussed topics in NBA circles. As the dust continues to settle, the Luka Doncic trade has become more than just a transaction. It is now a case study in risk-taking, front office philosophy, and the unpredictable nature of professional basketball. Whether Dallas made the right call or mortgaged its future remains to be seen. For Jimmy Butler and countless others across the league, the move will be remembered as one of those moments when the NBA reminded everyone that no matter how secure a superstar might seem, nothing is ever truly guaranteed. Dallas's gamble. And the Anthony Davis factor. While the shock surrounding Luka Doncic's trade to the Los Angeles Lakers continues to ripple across the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks have remained steadfast in their justification. General manager Nico Harrison has repeated the mantra that defense wins championships, pointing to the arrival of Anthony Davis as a transformative step toward building a more balanced roster. For the Mavericks front office, the move was less about what they lost and more about the identity they wanted to forge moving forward. Anthony Davis, one of the league's premier big men, brings a unique skill set that few players can replicate. His shot blocking, defensive positioning, and ability to switch across multiple positions provide a foundation that Dallas has long struggled to establish. While Doncic was a transcendent offensive force, Critics often noted the Mavericks' defensive shortcomings, particularly in high-pressure playoff situations. Harrison and his team saw in Davis a player who could change that narrative and give Dallas a new dimension of competitiveness. Still, the trade raised as many questions as it answered. Leadership, for example, was one area where Doncic's absence loomed large. The Slovenian guard wasn't just the team's leading scorer and playmaker, he was the cultural centerpiece, the figure around whom the entire franchise revolved. Davis, despite his immense talent, has never been known as a vocal leader in the same way. His quiet demeanor and occasional struggles with durability leave some wondering whether he can truly carry the weight of being the cornerstone in Dallas. Inside the Mavericks fan base, the debate has been fierce. Some supporters believe the team was right to prioritize balance, arguing that basketball is not won by individual brilliance alone, but by constructing a complete unit. They point to historic examples, teams like the 2004 Detroit Pistons or the San Antonio Spurs dynasties, that leaned heavily on defense and collective effort rather than singular stars. From this perspective, Dallas is simply betting on a tried-and-true formula that has brought championships in the past. On the other hand, skeptics argue that trading away a generational talent like Doncic is a move that could haunt the franchise for decades. Stars of his caliber rarely come along, and when they do, organizations typically do everything possible to build around them rather than move on. To many, the Mavericks' decision feels like a surrender of long-term potential for short-term hope, a gamble that may not pay off if Davis struggles with injuries or fails to deliver on the biggest stage. Even beyond fan sentiment, the trade has shifted the dynamics within the Mavericks' locker room. Veterans now look to Davis as the focal point, but it will take time to adjust to a new offensive structure where the ball is no longer in Doncic's hands every possession. Players, who once thrived in Luka's high-usage system, must now adapt to a style that leans more heavily on post-play, rim protection, and transition defense. Whether this adjustment strengthens the team or creates new cracks remains one of the biggest storylines entering the season. Meanwhile, around the league, rival executives and analysts continue to dissect Dallas's rationale. Was it truly about defense? Was it a preemptive move to avoid future contract disputes with Doncic? Or did internal dynamics behind the scenes play a role in nudging the Mavericks toward this bold decision? No matter the answer, what's clear is that Dallas has placed its future in the hands of Anthony Davis, a player capable of dominance, but whose career has been marked by both brilliance and fragility. For now, the Mavericks' gamble stands as one of the most polarizing moves in recent memory. If Davis can stay healthy and guide Dallas deep into the playoffs, Harrison will be praised as a visionary who had the courage to defy convention. But if the experiment falters, the Mavericks could be remembered as the team that let go of one of basketball's brightest stars at the height of his powers. The Lakers' reinvention through Luka Doncic. When the news broke that Luka Doncic was heading to Los Angeles, the NBA landscape shifted overnight. The Lakers, already one of the most storied franchises in basketball history, suddenly became the epicenter of attention once again. For years, the team had been searching for the perfect bridge between the present era of LeBron James and the inevitable future beyond him. With Doncic's arrival, that bridge materialized, and the Lakers' identity was instantly reshaped. Doncic's skill set fit seamlessly with the Lakers' needs. His ability to orchestrate the offense, score from virtually anywhere on the court, and elevate teammates made him more than just another star. He was the kind of transformational figure who could dictate the tempo of a game. Paired alongside LeBron James, the duo created a rare dynamic. A veteran still performing at an elite level alongside a young phenom destined to dominate the league for the next decade. For the Lakers' front office, this trade was not only about winning now, but also about securing the future. General Manager Rob Pelinka and the organization recognized that LeBron, as extraordinary as he remains, is nearing the twilight of his career. Doncic provided insurance, someone who could carry the torch seamlessly when the king finally steps, away from the court. Few teams in NBA history have managed to orchestrate such a smooth succession plan between generations of superstars, and Los Angeles knew the significance of this moment. The atmosphere within the Lakers' locker room reflected the magnitude of Doncic's arrival. Veterans like Anthony Davis, who had been central to the team's previous championship run, welcomed the chance to play alongside a guard of Luka's caliber. Younger players saw him not only as a teammate, but as a mentor figure in his own right. Despite his youth, because of the maturity and vision he brings to the floor, the chemistry began forming quickly, and reports from training camp suggested a renewed sense of energy and ambition that hadn't been felt in years. On the court, the Lakers' offense immediately looked different. Instead of relying solely on LeBron's playmaking, the team now had a second orchestrator capable of breaking down defenses, drawing double teams, and creating open looks for shooters. Luka's ability to operate in pick-and-roll situations with Davis gave Los Angeles a devastating weapon that forced opponents to constantly adjust. Meanwhile, LeBron could conserve energy by choosing moments to take over rather than carrying the burden every possession. The excitement wasn't limited to the locker room. Fans in Los Angeles embraced Doncic almost instantly. The Lakers' faithful, known for their passion and star-driven culture, saw in him a new face capable of sustaining the franchise's championship legacy. Jersey sales skyrocketed. Social media buzzed with highlights, and the Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena, once again felt like the center of the basketball universe. Nationally, the trade ignited debates on television panels, podcasts, and across social media platforms. Analysts speculated whether this was the move that would finally end the dominance of other Western Conference powers, such as the Denver Nuggets or Golden State Warriors. Some even argued that the Lakers had assembled the most dangerous duo since Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. The expectations were enormous, but so too was the excitement. Of course, with great anticipation comes great pressure. Luka Doncic now carried not only the hopes of a franchise, but also the weight of its history. The Lakers are not just another team. They are the standard bearers of NBA success, with banners and legends that cast long shadows. How Doncic would, respond to that environment remained one of the most compelling storylines of the season. For now, though, the trade had given the Lakers something they hadn't had in years: clarity. They were no longer a team trying to balance the present and the future in uncertain ways. With Doncic in purple and gold, the path forward looked both immediate and long-term, promising championships today and stability for tomorrow. Dallas fans grapple with the loss of Luka Doncic in Dallas, the trade that sent Luka Doncic to Los Angeles left a scar that has yet to heal. For years, Mavericks fans had viewed the young Slovenian as the foundation of their future, a player who could redefine the franchise much like Dirk Nowitzki had done in the 2 decades prior. Doncic was not just their star, he was their symbol of hope, the bridge between past glory and future aspirations. When the deal was announced, the emotional reaction across the city and among the fan base was immediate and intense. Local media outlets reflected the turmoil. Headlines described the decision as shocking, confusing, and even heartbreaking. Radio shows were flooded with calls from frustrated supporters demanding explanations from the front office. Social media platforms lit up with hashtags expressing disbelief, anger, and disappointment. For many, it felt like the Mavericks had willingly walked away from a once-in-a-generation talent. Anthony Davis, despite his stature as one of the league's premier big men, was received with mixed emotions. On paper, Davis brought undeniable defensive prowess and championship experience. But in the hearts of Dallas fans, he was not Luka. The comparisons were unavoidable, and they often tilted heavily in Doncic's favor. While Davis represented balance and defensive structure, Doncic embodied excitement, leadership, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The narrative became even more complicated when considering Dallas's history. Fans recalled how the Mavericks had once built around Dirk Nowitzki, crafting a legacy that culminated in the 2011 NBA championship. For many, Doncic was supposed to follow that path, growing with the franchise, embracing the city, and eventually delivering another title. Trading him away disrupted that vision, and supporters struggled to reconcile the decision with the organization's long-term ambitions. The media in Dallas pressed the front office for transparency. General Manager Nico Harrison remained consistent in his messaging, emphasizing that defense wins championships and that Davis was the cornerstone of a new direction. Yet his words often rang hollow to fans who had witnessed Doncic's brilliance night after night. How could a player who was frequently compared to legends like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird be traded for anyone regardless of skill? Even within the Mavericks' locker room, the shift was palpable. Teammates who had thrived alongside Doncic were forced to adapt to a different style of play. Players who had grown accustomed to Luka's high-usage, ball-dominant approach now found themselves adjusting to a system built around Davis's inside presence and defensive intensity. While some welcomed the change, others privately wondered if the team had sacrificed too much. Fan gatherings outside the American Airlines Center during the early months after the trade were filled with divided opinions. Some supporters, loyal to the Mavericks no matter what, urged patience and optimism, pointing to Davis's track record and potential to stabilize the team. Others were openly critical, accusing the front office of betraying the fan base by giving up on a generational superstar. Chants of "Bring Luka back" occasionally surfaced during games, highlighting the lingering discontent. The broader NBA media added fuel to the fire. National analysts questioned whether Dallas had overplayed its hand, gambling away a secure future for a fragile present. Comparisons to infamous trades of the past, deals that had backfired and haunted franchises for years, were frequent. The pressure on Davis to perform was immense, as every missed game due to injury or underwhelming performance reignited the debate. In many ways, the Mavericks found themselves at a crossroads not only competitively, but culturally. The identity of the team had shifted dramatically, and the emotional bond between the franchise and its fan base had been tested. Rebuilding trust would require more than words from the front office. It would require results on the court, deep playoff runs, and a clear demonstration that the gamble was worth it. For now, though, the Dallas faithful remained torn, caught between loyalty to their team and heartbreak over losing the player who was supposed to define their future. Luka Doncic's shadow looms large, and until Anthony Davis can prove himself as more than just a consolation prize, the skepticism will persist. Behind the scenes, Mavericks front office decisions. The trade of Luka Doncic to the Lakers wasn't a spontaneous move. It was the culmination of months of internal deliberations and strategic calculations within the Dallas Mavericks front office. General Manager Nico Harrison and his team faced a complex web of considerations, ranging from financial flexibility to roster construction and long-term championship aspirations. While fans saw the transaction as shocking, insiders reveal that every angle was meticulously analyzed before the final decision was made. At the core of the deliberations was the pursuit of balance. Dallas had long been criticized for an offense-heavy identity, often leaving defensive liabilities exposed in high-stakes playoff situations. Harrison reportedly prioritized defensive strength as the missing element in their championship puzzle. The decision to acquire Anthony Davis, a two-way superstar with a reputation for rim protection and versatile defense, was framed as an attempt to address that gap. Analysts often noted that while Doncic could carry the offensive load, he could not transform the team defensively overnight. Financial considerations also played a significant role. The Mavericks management needed to navigate the constraints of the salary cap while positioning themselves for future opportunities. Doncic's contract, while team-friendly, represented a long-term financial commitment that limited flexibility. Davis, despite being an elite player, offered a more structured contract situation when paired with strategic adjustments elsewhere on the roster. The trade was, in part, about giving Dallas the tools to maneuver in upcoming free agency periods and potential roster upgrades. Reports suggest that conversations inside the Mavericks offices went beyond numbers and analytics. There were discussions about leadership dynamics, team chemistry, and the evolving role of Doncic himself. While he had proven to be a transcendent talent, questions were raised about whether his style of play could coexist with a defensive-first philosophy. Harrison's team explored various scenarios, weighing the potential of Davis's veteran presence against the risk of losing a generational player. Another factor involved the optics of rebuilding versus contending. By securing Davis, the Mavericks signaled that they were not abandoning their championship aspirations, but instead attempting a strategic recalibration. The trade was positioned as a proactive measure, ensuring that the team remained competitive in the ultra-competitive Western Conference. In this context, the decision was less about abandoning Luka and more about constructing a roster capable of immediate and sustained success. The Lakers' interest added another layer of urgency. Los Angeles presented an offer that aligned with Dallas's internal priorities, making the decision difficult but ultimately justifiable from a business perspective. Negotiations between the two franchises were reportedly professional but intense, with both sides acutely aware of the media scrutiny and fan reactions that would follow. Despite the strategic logic, Harrison acknowledged the emotional complexity of the trade. He understood that the fan base had developed a deep attachment to Doncic, who had been a cornerstone of the franchise's identity. Every move was carefully framed not only in terms of basketball merit, but also in messaging to supporters, highlighting that the decision was about long-term stability rather than short-term spectacle. Ultimately, the trade reflected a combination of calculated risk, forward-thinking strategy, and the unavoidable pressures of managing a high-profile NBA franchise. While the optics were controversial, the internal rationale focused on defensive balance, financial flexibility, and positioning Dallas for a new era. Whether these factors will justify the decision remains to be seen, but the meticulous planning behind the scenes underscores that this was far from a hasty move. Luka Doncic's perspective. Adapting to Los Angeles. For Luka Doncic, the trade to the Los Angeles Lakers marked both a thrilling opportunity and a challenging adjustment. Leaving Dallas, where he had grown into one of the NBA's brightest stars, meant stepping into a new city, a new system, and a roster built around championship aspirations. While fans and media speculated endlessly about the reasons behind the trade, Luka's focus remained firmly on his game and his role within the Lakers organization. Upon arriving in Los Angeles, Luka immediately sensed the heightened expectations that come with wearing the purple and gold. The Lakers fan base, deeply connected to their legacy of championships, viewed his acquisition as a pivotal moment for the team's future. There's a lot of energy, a lot of pressure, but that's what you want as a player, Luka explained in interviews shortly after joining the squad. I came here to compete, to win, and to do my part for the team. The transition involved both on-court and off-court adjustments. Luka had to learn a new offensive scheme that integrated LeBron James's leadership and Anthony Davis's two-way dominance. Balancing his natural playmaking instincts with the Lakers' established hierarchy required patience and adaptability. Early scrimmages and practice sessions revealed the potential for an exciting partnership, but also highlighted the subtle challenges of timing, spacing, and chemistry that take time to refine. Off the court, Luka had to acclimate to life in Los Angeles. Media attention was intense, and every move, on social media or in public appearances, was scrutinized. The shift from Dallas, where he had been the unequivocal focal point, to a market filled with celebrity and spotlight intensity, demanded a heightened level of focus and maturity. He quickly learned to compartmentalize external pressures, emphasizing preparation and performance above all else. Luka also recognized the significance of team culture. The Lakers have long cultivated a championship-driven mentality, with veterans emphasizing accountability, resilience, and leadership. Integrating into this culture meant embracing a collaborative approach while still asserting his identity as a premier scorer and playmaker. His early conversations with LeBron James and other key teammates focused on understanding expectations, building trust, and defining his role in critical game situations. Despite the challenges, Luka approached the transition with a mindset of growth. He publicly emphasized that setbacks or criticism would not deter him from striving for excellence. Every change comes with challenges, he noted, but this is a great opportunity to grow, to learn from some of the best, and to push myself to another level. His confidence and professionalism were evident, reinforcing his reputation as a player capable of thriving under pressure. The media quickly highlighted the potential of the new Lakers lineup. Analysts compared Luka's versatility with Davis's defensive skills and LeBron's leadership, suggesting that the trio could reshape the power dynamics of the Western Conference. For Luka, the focus remained internal, mastering the system, understanding his teammates, and translating his natural talent into tangible wins. In practice and early games, signs of chemistry began to emerge. Luka's court vision complemented Davis's interior presence, while his scoring ability alleviated some of the offensive load from LeBron. Each game provided valuable learning experiences, helping Luka refine timing, spacing, and decision-making in high-pressure scenarios. Ultimately, Luka's perspective on the trade reflects both ambition and resilience. While leaving Dallas was emotionally complex, his focus on personal and team growth underscores his commitment to success. Adapting to the Lakers is not merely about performing, it's about evolving into a leader capable of delivering in a championship-driven environment. As the season unfolds, Luka's ability to integrate seamlessly with the Lakers' core will determine whether this high-profile move achieves its transformative potential. Veteran reactions. Jimmy Butler and the NBA's response. The trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers sent shockwaves throughout the NBA, capturing the attention of players, coaches, and analysts alike. Among the most vocal reactions came from Jimmy Butler of the Golden State Warriors, a player known for his candid and insightful perspectives on league developments. In interviews following the trade, Butler admitted to being stunned by the news, describing the moment as surreal and almost unbelievable. "When I first heard about the trade, I thought it was a joke," Butler revealed. "Honestly, it felt like someone hacked Shams Charania's account or posted something by mistake. You hear words like untouchable and franchise cornerstone, and Luka fits that description perfectly. Seeing him go to the Lakers, it's still hard to process." Butler's reaction resonated widely among players and fans, highlighting the unexpected nature of the transaction and its immediate ripple effects across the league. Other veterans shared similar sentiments, emphasizing Luka's central role in Dallas and the rarity of trading such a young superstar. Many noted that moves like this are not just basketball decisions. They carry enormous cultural and emotional weight, impacting locker rooms, team morale, and even rivalries. Analysts in the NBA community quickly pointed out that the trade dramatically shifted the balance of power in the Western Conference, instantly positioning the Lakers as one of the top contenders for the title. Butler, in particular, underscored the implications for player dynamics. When a player like Luka changes teams, it's not just about stats. It's about leadership, chemistry, and the mental game, he explained. Teams now have to rethink how they approach the Lakers, how they defend, and how they plan for the playoffs. It's a ripple effect that goes far beyond Dallas. His insight reflects the broader perspective of seasoned players who understand that a single high-profile trade can alter strategic approaches across the league. Beyond individual reactions, the trade sparked intense media analysis. Pundits debated the motivations behind Dallas's decision. scrutinizing the Mavericks' logic for acquiring Anthony Davis in exchange. While management emphasized defensive balance and long-term strategy, veteran players speculated about the less tangible elements: locker room culture, player preferences, and future market positioning. Many agreed with Butler's assessment that a trade of this magnitude always involves factors beyond what is publicly disclosed. Veterans also recognized the challenge and opportunity presented to Luka himself. Transitioning to the Lakers means playing under intense scrutiny in one of the league's most high-profile markets. While some predicted pressure and adjustment challenges, others saw it as an avenue for Luka to elevate his game, collaborating with elite teammates like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Butler's comments reflected this dual perspective, acknowledging both the shock of losing a peer in Dallas and the excitement of seeing a young superstar thrive in a new environment. The trade also prompted broader discussions about franchise strategy and player movement in the NBA. Many veterans expressed curiosity about how management decisions influence long-term player development, team cohesion, and competitive balance. Butler noted that as a player, it's important to remain adaptable and focused, regardless of league-wide shakeups. We all understand that trades happen and the league evolves, but a move like this, it changes everything for a moment, he said. Ultimately, the reaction of Jimmy Butler and his peers reflects both respect for Luka's talent and a recognition of the strategic gamble Dallas undertook. Their insights offer a lens into how high-level athletes perceive major transactions, balancing awe at individual skill with the complex calculus of team building. As the NBA continues to digest the ramifications of the trade, the perspectives of veterans like Butler provide an important narrative layer, illustrating the human and strategic dimensions of professional basketball at its highest level. Western Conference Shakeup: Strategic implications of Luka's move. The trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers immediately altered the competitive landscape of the Western Conference, forcing teams to reevaluate strategies, roster constructions, and playoff projections. Analysts and executives alike recognize that adding a generational talent to an already star-studded Lakers roster fundamentally changed the dynamics of the conference. Prior to Luka's arrival, the Lakers were viewed as strong contenders primarily due to LeBron James's leadership and Anthony Davis's defensive dominance. While respected, the team still faced questions about depth, shooting consistency, and floor spacing. Luka's inclusion not only addressed these concerns but also introduced a new layer of versatility, with his playmaking, scoring, and court vision complementing the team's existing strengths. Coaches across the league quickly adjusted their defensive schemes in response. Defending the Lakers now required strategies that accounted for Luka's ability to create plays both off the ball and as the primary ball handler. Opponents debated whether to focus on stopping LeBron or doubling, Luka realizing that ignoring either would be strategically perilous. "You can't leave either one open," said an anonymous Western Conference coach. "The spacing, the movement, and the decision-making they bring, this combination is a nightmare for defenses." The trade also affected the playoff calculus. For other top contenders, such as the Golden State Warriors, Denver Nuggets, and Phoenix Suns, teams that had previously envisioned deep runs now had to anticipate encountering a Lakers lineup capable of multiple high-level rotations. Analytics departments recalculated win probabilities, factoring in Luka's synergy with LeBron and Davis, while also considering the potential for mid-season adjustments or injuries. For the Mavericks, the impact was equally profound. Losing Luka meant a complete strategic pivot. Dallas's coaching staff now had to develop Anthony Davis as the focal point, integrating him into schemes designed to maximize defensive efficiency and rebounding. While Davis brings undeniable talent, the loss of Luka's creative scoring and leadership forced the Mavericks to explore different offensive approaches and redefine team identity. Front offices across the West took note of how the Lakers' roster balance could influence trade markets. Teams with excess assets, particularly wing players or draft picks, recognized the need to strengthen their squads in anticipation of facing a retooled Lakers team. The domino effect of Luka's move extended beyond a single team, influencing broader league decisions and player valuations. Media narratives reinforced the perception that the Western Conference had a new power hierarchy. Analysts highlighted the Lakers as a top-tier title favorite, citing their combination of experience, star power, and now Luka's emerging dominance. Pundits debated the potential for unprecedented offensive efficiency, defensive versatility, and playoff resilience. For many, the Lakers had moved from contenders to favorites, shifting expectations throughout the league. Players themselves internalized the changes. Veterans understood that matchups would become more challenging, requiring adjustments in rotations, scouting, and in-game strategy. Young stars recognized the opportunity to measure themselves against an elevated standard of competition. Luka's arrival thus created both fear and motivation, igniting competitive intensity across multiple franchises. Even with these high stakes, the Lakers approached the situation pragmatically. Coaching staff emphasized cohesion, communication, and gradual integration, understanding that the team's long-term success depended not only on talent but on chemistry. Luka's skill set provided flexibility, allowing the team to experiment with lineups, play calling, and tempo while maintaining adaptability for playoff scenarios. In summary, Luka Doncic's move to Los Angeles reshaped the Western Conference's competitive framework. Strategic plans were revised, defensive schemes recalibrated, and title projections reconsidered. The ripple effects extended from front offices to coaching strategies, player mindsets, and league-wide expectations. As the season progressed, the Lakers' ability to harness Luka's talents alongside their established stars would be the ultimate test of whether this transformative trade could fulfill its enormous promise. Fan reactions and media frenzy. Luka's cultural impact. The trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers ignited an unprecedented wave of reactions from fans and media alike, highlighting how a single transaction can transcend basketball and become a cultural phenomenon. Social media platforms exploded with debates, memes, and emotional commentary, illustrating the passionate engagement that Luka commands as one of the league's brightest young stars. Dallas Mavericks supporters were particularly vocal, expressing a mix of disbelief, frustration, and nostalgia. Many felt that management's decision to part ways with a generational talent undermined years of team building and loyalty. Hashtags questioning the trade trended for days, and fan forums were filled with speculation about alternative strategies and what could have been. Some even organized symbolic gestures of protest, such as wearing Luka jerseys in solidarity while attending Mavericks games, emphasizing the emotional toll of losing a player who had become synonymous with the franchise's identity. Conversely, Lakers fans embraced the acquisition with exuberance, viewing Luka as the missing piece to solidify championship aspirations. Merchandise sales skyrocketed, social media engagement surged, and discussions about how Luka's style of play would mesh with LeBron James and Anthony Davis dominated online communities. Analysts noted that fan enthusiasm contributed to a broader sense of optimism for the Lakers' season, creating a media narrative that framed the team as a revitalized powerhouse poised to dominate the Western Conference. Media coverage extended beyond traditional sports reporting, reflecting Luka's growing status as a global icon. Networks and online outlets analyzed every aspect of the trade, from salary cap implications to strategic fit, but also explored human interest angles. Luka's transition to Los Angeles, his potential influence on younger players, and his integration into Hollywood's high-profile sports culture. Feature stories highlighted his journey from European prodigy to NBA superstar, contextualizing the trade as not just a basketball decision, but a cultural moment in sports history. International fans also joined the conversation, emphasizing Luka's status as a global ambassador for the NBA. Streams and broadcasts in Europe, Asia, and Latin America highlighted the widespread fascination with the trade, demonstrating how the league's reach has expanded beyond U.S. borders. Analysts noted that transactions involving superstars like Luka are now inherently global events, influencing merchandise sales, viewership, and the international growth of the NBA brand. The media frenzy also included scrutiny of the Mavericks front office. Debates raged over whether management acted strategically or impulsively, balancing the defense-focused rationale behind acquiring Anthony Davis against the perception of sacrificing a franchise cornerstone. Sports talk shows, podcasts, and commentary. Panels dissected the decision relentlessly, framing the story as a high-stakes gamble with long-term repercussions. Player reactions added another dimension to the cultural impact. Fellow athletes weighed in publicly and privately, acknowledging Luka's talent while reflecting on the unpredictability of NBA trades. Some veterans praised the Lakers' boldness, while others empathized with Dallas's loss. This dialogue highlighted the human side of professional sports, illustrating that player movement influences more than just statistics. It affects friendships, rivalries, and the emotional fabric of the league. In addition to immediate fan and media reactions, the trade sparked conversations about loyalty, ambition, and the evolution of professional basketball. Luka's move symbolized a broader trend of superstar mobility, where strategic, financial, and competitive considerations often outweigh traditional notions of team allegiance. This shift challenged conventional narratives about franchise identity and player legacy, reinforcing the idea that modern NBA stars operate within a highly dynamic and interconnected ecosystem. Ultimately, Luka Doncic's transition to the Lakers became more than a trade. It was a cultural touchstone. It galvanized fan communities, captivated global audiences, and provoked ongoing dialogue about the nature of professional sports in the 21st century. Jimmy Butler and other players' reactions, combined with media scrutiny and fan fervor, highlighted how a single transaction can redefine expectations, ignite passions, and transform the storylines that shape the NBA's contemporary narrative. Future outlook. Luka's potential legacy with the Lakers. Looking ahead, Luka Doncic's arrival in Los Angeles sets the stage for a transformative era, not only for the Lakers but for the NBA as a whole. Analysts, coaches, and front offices are already projecting the long-term implications of combining Luka's dynamic skill set with LeBron James's leadership and Anthony Davis's defensive prowess. The potential for sustained dominance in the Western Conference has never been more tangible, and expectations are now at an unprecedented level. The Lakers' championship strategy revolves around maximizing Luka's unique abilities. His court vision, versatility, and scoring efficiency provide the team with unprecedented offensive options. Whether orchestrating pick-and-roll sequences, facilitating ball movement, or creating isolation opportunities, Luka adds a level of unpredictability that can disrupt even the league's most disciplined defenses. This combination of talents allows the Lakers to adopt a more fluid style of play, adapting to different opponents while maintaining elite competitiveness. From a defensive standpoint, Luka's integration also offers opportunities for strategic innovation. While primarily known for his offensive brilliance, his high basketball IQ enables him to anticipate plays, contribute to team rotations, and coordinate defensive schemes alongside Davis and LeBron. This multidimensional impact ensures that the Lakers remain competitive on both ends of the floor, a crucial factor in deep playoff runs. Beyond immediate tactical advantages, Luka's presence may influence player development and roster construction across the league. Younger stars and emerging talent will measure themselves against the high standard set by the Lakers, potentially accelerating their growth and influencing free agency decisions. Rival teams are likely to reevaluate priorities, whether by pursuing complementary scores, reinforcing defensive systems, or experimenting with alternative rotations to counter Luka's impact. Projecting championship potential, the Lakers' chances have risen dramatically. Preseason simulations and analytical models now place Los Angeles among the top favorites to claim the title in upcoming seasons. While basketball's inherent unpredictability ensures no guarantees, the combination of superstar experience, versatile skill sets, and Luka's transcendent abilities creates a foundation for sustained success. Analysts suggest that the Lakers could remain competitive for multiple seasons, especially if they maintain roster depth and health. On a broader scale, Luka's move may catalyze a shift in the NBA's balance of power. Historically, superstar trades can redefine conferences, alter playoff narratives, and influence the global perception of the league. Luka's integration with the Lakers exemplifies this phenomenon, demonstrating how a single player can change not only team dynamics, but also fan engagement, media narratives, and international interest. The trade highlights the ongoing evolution of professional basketball, where strategic acquisitions, analytics-driven decisions, and player mobility shape the future landscape. For Luka himself, the opportunity extends beyond team success. Achievements with the Lakers could cement his legacy as one of the league's all-time greats, placing him among the elite players who have defined generations. With the mentorship of LeBron and the defensive backbone provided by Davis, Luka has the environment to refine his leadership, expand his versatility, and achieve both personal and collective milestones. In conclusion, Luka Doncic's transition to the Lakers represents more than a roster adjustment. It signals a potential dynasty in the making. His integration promises tactical innovation, playoff competitiveness, and a cultural shift within the NBA. As seasons unfold, the combination of Luka, LeBron, and Davis could redefine championship expectations, inspire a new wave of talent development, and leave an indelible mark on basketball history. The league watches closely, anticipating how this pivotal move will shape the next era of the NBA.